So when it comes to this whole YouTube thing, making videos, I don't really care for monetization or anything like that. I don't really play the game correctly when it comes to YouTube, so I don't mind talking about stuff like this. Um, I am not trying to make my channel like too political, but I cannot help myself but to make another video about this migrant crisis that is going on. And that is what I'm going to be talking about. In the world that we live in today, I cannot understand how some people cannot just be on top of their game with everything that is going on. I know a good amount of people who are struggling and everything else, and yet they are not paying attention to what is going on and how it could affect them, and it most likely will affect them if things do not change for the better. Like, I just can't understand. So what I mean by that, when it comes to these illegal, and yes, I said illegal, migrants that are coming across, there are people that been waiting for apartments. They've been on a list waiting for apartments and all that stuff. And some of them been pushed back. I don't know how that whole list works, but I know of some people who've been waiting for a long time, and they're this close to getting picked, but now they've been pushed back even further because they're putting these illegal migrants in the forefront. So their living lifestyle, getting apartments, is being affected because of this situation that's going on. On top of that, crime is going up. Even though I live in New York, I can't tell the difference. There's always been crime around here, so I mean, I can't tell the difference. But crime has been going up. I do know one thing for sure. There's been a lot of people getting pushed onto the train tracks, and this is why I've been staying away from the city a lot. But yeah, crime is going up. And another thing that's going up too is prostitution. Like, the fact that it's so blunt in our faces, and these higher ups see that all of this stuff is going on, and they're letting it continue, and they're making excuses, saying that it's what did this one lady said? She said that it's, god damn it, what did she say? It's a survival work, something like that, making excuses for this prostitution. And it's not really going on in Staten Island, because Staten Island, where I live, they're not playing no games out here. Mm-mm. But in the other boroughs like Brooklyn, Queens, the city, the Bronx, especially in Queens, like, prostitution there is crazy. Like, if I hear a guy say that I'm gonna be in Queens this weekend, I know what you're doing. I know why you're going to Queens, because but yeah, I mean, it's getting bad. It's getting to a point where I've been more careful walking around outside, because even though it's not really happening like that in Staten Island, because Staten Islanders are like, no, like, don't bring that shit over here. There are some sketchy people out here still. And I'm gonna just tell a quick story. Like, about maybe 2 weeks ago, I was walking home. I mean, I wasn't alone. I was walking home, and I was a little bit heated at that moment. So I pulled out my phone. I didn't have headphones in or anything, but I pulled out my phone, and I was just like distracting myself from this little heated moment that happened. And there was a cop car that was at the stop, that was at a red light. And there was this pickup truck. Well, it's like one of those vans. You ever see those vans where these men will like grab women up and stuff them in the back of the van. It was one of those. It was like this gray van, and there was this guy inside, and I didn't really see it. I just know that this van slowed down, but I didn't know that the guy in the car was staring at me super, super hard. And the fact that I wasn't alone, I guess he saw that and like drove off. But what I'm trying to say is you have to be really careful, especially as a woman walking around. Like, you cannot just look down at your phone for a second. I mean, maybe you can, of course you can, but because it doesn't happen like all the time, but it does happen. And I can only imagine if I was by myself. I mean, I do keep things in my bag, but I can only imagine how the situation would have played out if I was by myself. But that stuff never really used to happen out here in Staten Island. The last case that I've heard of that was a few months ago, where these two guys tried to snatch this girl up and throw her in a van, but she got away. And yeah, but still, we don't really hear about those type of cases in Staten Island. And I'm saying all of this because the left has gone batshit crazy. I mean, they was always crazy, and they're allowing these illegals to come here, and they're allowing all this illegal acts of prostitution and crime and all that to go up. And they're making excuses. They're saying things on the news like, oh, helping the family and the children and this and that, and asylum seekers and whatnot. But to what they're saying and to what the people are seeing in reality is totally different. Like, there's more illegal military age men coming out here than women with children. And on top of that, some of these children aren't even with their exact parents. So there's that. Another thing too, so a few months ago, my mom was telling me when her and my father was at Home Depot, my dad was inside the store, my mother was in the car, and this illegal immigrant, it was an African man, he came up to the car asking my mother for like money and asking her for help because he needs a job and all this stuff. At the same time, there was like 2 or 3 other illegal immigrants that kind of like snuck up on the side of the car. And from what it sounded like they was about to like ambush her. But my dad came out on time. They saw him coming and they just like ran off. So there are things like that happening. Another thing that I've heard, because I have been keeping my ears in the streets, and that's another thing that some people are not doing. They're not really keeping their ears to the street, so they don't know what's going on, and they're being distracted by other things that are not important, like celebrity gossip and all that shit. But from what I've been hearing, that school that was shut down in Staten Island because people was not having it, I've been hearing things from what was happening over there, and I don't know if they're being vocal about it. I don't know if they're saying it on their social medias. I have no idea. But I'm going to say it on my channel. So about maybe like a year or 2 ago, when this first started happening and there was a few illegals coming out here, Staten Islanders were actually being helpful. Like, I know there was a pizzeria that was giving them food, stuff like that. But when it started becoming more frequent and more of an invasion and them being like a nuisance, it was just like, no, we're not having this. So from what I've heard, the illegals that were at the school, the Villa Academy, they were going up to people's doors, knocking on them, asking for money, asking for a lot of stuff. Well, whatever they was asking for. They was sneaking in their backyards and stuff like that. Also, there's been condoms that were like that they've seen on their front lawns, and they've also spotted some men coming out of the school, in and out of the school, dressed up as women. yeah, I said men coming out of the school dressed up as women, doing, illegal work. And all of that is going on in their neighborhoods, and there's kids in these neighborhoods and other schools nearby. And all of that was going on, and it was just like, they was not having it. And there's other things that I've heard, but I don't know if the people are, for some reason it's not really being reported like that. Like everything is being like hidden under the rug, and it's just a lot going on. Anyway, with all that being said, there are a lot of people out here that are really fed up on what's going on. And it's just the way that New York is right now, is it's like people have to whisper about it, because there are a lot of like crazy, like real crazy liberals that live out here. And if you say anything, like anything that's not even like, I don't know, if you just say anything that they don't like, it's like a whole big old, you're this, you're that. And it's just, it's a headache. But out here, it's like you have to whisper about it. And it's so funny because people have been talking in code. Like, there be times when you're in a conversation with somebody and it starts to go in a direction of like political talks, and you have to like feel somebody out to see what side they're on in order to like take the conversation further, because the crazy liberals, they're not very open-minded to other people's opinions. So it's weird. It's so funny, but it's weird. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of people fed up out here, and at this time that we're living in, I just can't understand how some people are just not on top of their game. I know a lot of people who don't even have a stack in their bank account. Like, what are you doing? They're like slacking and not picking up enough like hours of work, trying to get out of not working. And it's just, I just don't understand it. Like, with everything that's going on, and these people that are coming here that are willing to take your resources from you because they don't care, they're looking out for them. Like, I just don't understand, how can you not be on top of your game and making sure that you and yours is good, no matter what happens. Because who knows, like, I hope that there will be a turnaround, because there are a lot of people being fed up. But it's like these higher ups, they are just smiling in our faces and throwing dirt at the same time. It's so crazy. Like, I would advise for people to start supporting each other, to start supporting like local businesses, entrepreneurs, whatever. Like, really look out for each other, because the government is definitely not looking out for us. Like I said earlier, I don't really care for being monetized with this YouTube channel. That was never really my goal. I don't even play this YouTube game. I don't even be like I don't even say things like and subscribe. Like, I feel like if you like me enough anyway, you'll subscribe. But with that being said, I don't mind talking about these things, even though I don't want to make my channel too political. But at this point in time, I don't know. I don't know, how can you not say at least something to get the message spread, because there's still a lot of people out here who are very asleep right now. And it blows my mind every time when I see people moving the way they're moving with everything that is going on. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, with that being said, that's all I have to say for this video. And yeah.